So we learnt from the injury to monitor fatigue much more closely. We learnt to not potentially neglect areas of development that, and I'm not talking about, snatch, clean and jerk per se, but like just general stuff. We would do a lot of Zercher squats. We would do side lunges. We do carries. We would do things that in earlier general development, I would have put a lot more in. And we had to do it out of necessity. And I feel his work capacities increased a lot as a result of that injury. So there you go. What can you say? You learn. You don't want to learn a hard lesson though, and a wrist injury can be one that that really can end things or make things so much more difficult. And so what happened there was, after that injury, of course, in his final year, European Championships he'd qualified for. There was the World Championships, and it was like, fuck, we're going to fucking take it to the fucking Russians. We'll take it to the fucking whoever. Couldn't give a fuck. And of course, all that's gone. It's like selection, then he's not fit. Doesn't get selected for Europeans. And at the time, I think really fortuitously, the Commonwealth Championships at that time was in Malaysia with the World Championships, and it was the first time that the Commonwealth Youths were run in the same week, and that was a brilliant experience because he got to qualify for the Commonwealth Championships for Wales and lift in the same session as he would have done in a World Championships because they run the two side to side, and it was fucking brilliant. So that allowed him psychologically to be with the best lifters of his age group in the world. Plus he got to lift for his country, and so that the year wasn't ruined by the injury. It was, and he won gold in that championships, broke a Commonwealth record and broke a British record, and came back lifting really, really well. And I think he hit 291 that day. And that was a good, solid, post-injury competition for him, and it sort of taught me the lesson that he hadn't lifted for fucking 6 months. He lifted for about 6 weeks before the comp and hit fucking 291. I think he hit 25 and 267. What did you hit that comp, Jord? Did you hit 291 that comp?
Yeah, 25.66.
25.66, he hit that comp. And like, he didn't lift that much, and yet he lifted a lot more than he had done in the previous competitions. So what it showed me was that, certainly in a younger lifter anyway, like general stuff, general work of any description, so long as it's far enough away, so long as you get some specific training before the competition. If you're working generally and developing the general athleticism of that individual, you're going to see a bigger competition total. And for Jordan, like, I know how nervous he was in that competition. He was very fucking nervous, because it was his first and last competition of the year, and it was his only opportunity to display his potential at under 17, at youth, and win for his country. And he did all of those things. He went 5 for 6 on the day, no, 4 for 6, and lifted really well, and more importantly, came out of the competition without a fucking scratch. So that was a really good comp. And of course, you hit 291, break Commonwealth record as a youth. 300's a knock on the door away, and you're looking forward to your junior year, because all of a sudden you're starting to look at the competition, like the Russians and the fucking Poles and the Koreans and whoever else was there, and you realize that physically you are no fucking different. Mentally you can be stronger, equally as strong, whatever the fuck. And there is nothing that you cannot do that they're doing that you cannot do. You can fucking, you've smelt them, you've seen them, you fucking can sniff the fucking tobacco on their coach's fucking breath. Do you get me? There's nothing they can do that you can't. And that was important for him to be in the same room as people like that and realize that if you believe, you're going to succeed. Without fucking belief, there is nothing. So you can forget all the fucking drugs and all the fucking this, that, and the other. You know, you believe in yourself, and that's the first stage to fucking greatdom. Forget the rest. Just fucking believe in yourself. And his belief, which people may feel is arrogant, who gives a fuck about that? I think his belief that carries him forward day in, day out. Without that belief, there is mediocrity. Well, you know, greatness doesn't come from a lack of belief. It comes from more of the qualities. If we're trying to train more strength, more speed, more power, more efficiency, then we should have more belief. We should not have less of that quality. And I think for Jordan, that is one of his, if not his biggest attribute, is that he is blind with belief that he will fucking succeed and be the best.
So post that competition, this is 2016. Obviously, all plans move on to the Commonwealth Games.
Yes.
I suppose, and everything else is ancillary to that.
Yes.
What was the plan in terms of qualifying for the games, going to the games,
Yeah.
and getting in the best possible position to not only be selected but be in a position to actually perform well at the games, have a crack at a medal, etc.
We come back from Malaysia, and you know, we put our timeline on it, and we're like, okay, we got whatever it was, 18 months, you know, to the games. The first thing you got to do is be selected by your country, and be in a ranking position. Bearing in mind, we didn't know what the structure of the rankings was. You know, back in then, they were just about debating whether it would be one per country, you know, and all this sort of stuff. And you've got the goal there. The goal's 18 months away. But at 17, development is development. You can't just say, we'll turn the heat up because the goal's 18 months away, or we'll train harder, or we're fucking flat out. And we're flat out developing the system and his efficiencies and whatever. We're developing that irrespective of what the goal is, just a moment in time. So we're focusing on his senior career. Ironically, this is a senior competition. And it just so happens to be a games. Well, it could be another championships, or it could be a fucking junior blah-de-blah. It make no difference. He'll be where he's at. Now, where we think he's going to be, getting us to that point where he can represent himself how he wants to be represented, that requires the analysis of looking at the balances of the strengths and the weaknesses, and making sure that we are considering the most important, or the priority of training first. And when you're so far away from competition, you more or less know that you're going to beat everyone in Wales. That was okay. It's just a matter of time, isn't it? It's something, but it's, you know, providing we do our bit, we'll be where we need to be in terms of like ranking in this country. Then it's about, will we have a total that will qualify us for to be top 10 in Commonwealth or whatever the fuck? Well, just looking at the figures, we're blessed that it's one per nation and the standard's not that high. So yeah, we should be top 10. Then it's about, well, the next thing is, during this 18-month period of time, where do we feel we can be, and what do we feel that we should be achieving, and what are the strategic markers to guide us on the way? And so the plan is, I write everything down, sort of have my year sort of structure planned out, and I sort of wrote, okay, we'll be at 320 here, 330 here, and 3 so-and-so here. And we've not necessarily been wrong before, okay? But don't forget, we're in new territory. I haven't developed a weightlifter on year 6 because I'm fucking year 6 as a coach. So it's not like I've got 25 years of, don't worry, Jordan, I've fucking been here before. We are, to a degree, best guessing our way forward. And when you're best guessing your way forward without the hindsight of experience, you better fucking best guess fucking pretty fucking accurately every time. Remembering that the lessons of the injuries and stuff that we've had before take us into, we understand what fatigue looks like for this individual. And so when you have this where we believe we're going to be structure, and then the reality of where you actually are, you just align the two, and then just be honest with yourselves. Like, and like honesty for the two of us is quite a big deal. You know, we've transitioned from the first week, the fuck, get on, fucking lift it, fucking blah, to, you know, we sit down, tell me how you feel, how's your body, how's your mindset, how's your fucking sleep, how's your food, give me all the information, let me know that, you know, I trust him, let me know that we're doing all the elements right, and then the big reviews every, whatever, 12, 16 weeks are here's the focus. How do you feel about that focus? And he might say to me, I feel like I need to fucking squat more than that, or I feel, you know, this position is a little bit, I'm done with that position. I feel this position, because they're his senses. That's what he feels. Now my job is to align sensation with strategy and say to him, okay, I respect that you may feel that position is, you know, redundant, or you've used it up or whatever. But tell me where you least like to be this position. Guess where? We're fist fucking you at that position. You know, so you got to be honest that more than likely the first 6 weeks of any program, he's completely unhappy. He's not confident. He's like fucking moaning and whatever, you know, so be it. But as we come through that phase, as we get sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks in, all of a sudden things start to equalize. He starts to feel the benefit of, you know, that phase of training or whatever. Then of course it's all totally different. Fucking love doing that. Love doing, fucking more of that, more, which is great. And that's obviously the point of development, isn't it? It's just balance out all the weaknesses. And then if you've got an athlete that's pretty rounded, then do snatch, clean, jerk, front squat, back squat. Easy. But up to that point, you've got to do all the shit that gets them to the point where they can do snatch, clean, jerk, front squat, back squat, powers, whatever. And I don't feel that when you're 17, 18, you're not that lifter. You have to do a bit of variation. You have to do, you're not going to be balanced, because he's just put on fucking, since he started weightlifting when he was 12, he was 67 kilos. Well, the fat cunt's fucking 110 kilos. That's a lot of flesh and bone to put on in a short space of time. And yet you haven't extracted everything from that flesh and bone. You need to get the intramuscular connections. You have to get the neural connections. You have to get the most out of each part of the muscle increase, the weight increase. Make sure that you don't leave anything left in the tank, that you've extracted every part of the next phase. You have done it in the right way. And that's where we find ourselves now. He's put on quite a bit of muscle mass, or general mass, whatever. And our job now is to make sure that we have got an abundance of the quality of squat and the quality of pull, and we have the efficiency of technique to convert the pull and the squat.
So, obviously the goal is to win, but what's the plan leading up to the Commonwealth Games? What do you see as going to happen if you predict it?
Here's my forecast, that we've got the Welsh seniors in 4 weeks. Yeah. We would like to express 325 there, 45-80, and take 3 snatches and 2 clean jerks. Not really bothered with the last one.
So don't take it, or you're not bothered about the number?
Don't take it. Just not take it. Because like 325 would be a place where, having worked on what we've worked on, 325 would be good enough. And if we express 3 snatches and 2 clean and jerks, then we know we're around the sort of 335 mark if we were fucking balls out. But we don't need to be balls out. What do we need? We're fucking on the plane. Why do you need to go balls out? Like 325 will get him another layer of funding. Plus it will start to tell people that if you doubt this young man, shame on you, because there's no reason to doubt this fucking belief. And 45 would be a healthy snatch, 5 kilos away from where we want to be sort of opening snatch wise in the games. 80 is 80. It's a big clean and jerk for anybody to just get it out of the way and just fucking do the 180. And then we sit down. We've got 11 weeks of the games. And we're in a position where we've ticked another box. Get out the competition healthy. Get out the competition fit and mentally prepared to do another 11 weeks of training, which will be a lot more fucking pulls. And then converting that pull into efficiency and making sure that we get enough density at the 80-85% ranges to then give us a nice peaking block before we go into competition. Because here's the thing, like, he's on an upward crest, and at fucking 18 or 19, I don't give a fuck how long you've been in the sport. You can't tell me how much weight he's going to fucking put up. It's impossible. But everybody knows it's going up. So no matter where we fucking start from, if it's 325, 330, whatever, everybody understands that he'll be lifting more by the games. He's not the kind of lifter who doesn't go to another competition expressing more weight. What the other fuckers have got to be worried about is, can they stay fucking fit enough knowing that he's on the fucking upward crescent? So that's important for people to, like, the 3, 4, 5 boys who are probably capable of expressing north of 340 upwards to 355-ish. They're a lot older. They've had some injuries and they need to stay fit. And I think that where he wants to be is to have the capability of making the final clean and jerk to win the gold medal. And if you look at the competition that's there, some of the guys don't snatch that well and they try and make it up on clean and jerks. And, you know, Owen's a good snatcher, he's a good clean and jerker, and, you know, but he's got to stay in one piece. And if Jordan's hit 45 in the Welsh seniors, and like he's hit 50-92 here, albeit from blocks, whatever, jerk 200. So like we've got 345, 350 available to us fucking now. What we want is to go into that competition knowing that we can express north of 350. It doesn't matter that you haven't done it, I believe. Not for a younger lifter who, if you look at every single competition, all bar one, he's lifted more in competition than he ever has done in training. And I understand that may get a little bit less as you get more qualified, but he's just that kind of lifter. You know, just put it on the fucking bar, let me lift it. So what we learned from Australia, last Commonwealth Championships, is that my role as his coach is to give him confidence that he can fucking lift anything. His job as the weightlifter is to lift anything. And I felt personally that my role as his coach hadn't been fulfilled because he didn't have the confidence to pull 80. And so that, I suppose, embarrassment is something that we don't accept. Do you get me? And I don't accept that. Like, I criticize myself for not giving him that abundance of confidence, because I know that his mentality, once confident, will lift everything. So the review of that competition was quite interesting, that we, you know, that was a hard competition for him not to win, but it was a valuable lesson to learn again, that what we have perhaps neglected, or where we thought we were getting stronger automatically, we were not getting stronger. And doesn't matter how fucking big your fucking front squat or back squat is, you better fucking pull that weight confidently and make sure the velocity's on that fucking bar to give yourself the knowledge that you're going to make that lift. And I feel that that's where he'll be in The games is he will know he has got fucking an abundance of pulling power. And the important factor to be is to make sure that you've got the technical ability to express your pulling power, because we can know he can jerk and fucking stand everything up. That's not a problem.